like that match in particular was chaotic, but honestly, every time you play San Jose, it's chaos, and I think that's how they like it. So when we played them last year, it was similar, just the style of play that they have. I think, but what tomorrow's about is us and us controlling the game, especially at home. We have to make ourselves, run the game, and not let their chaos take over, because that's what they want. So I think reflecting on that game is we got out with 3 points at their place. I know they're going to want to come back with some revenge, and we've got to get back on the horse here and get back to winning ways.
Some other players, the Kansas City players, were calling them dirty. Would you just you said chaotic? I mean, would you describe them as dirty at all?
I think that soccer is a difficult sport. I think that everybody's, and with them, it's specifically about individual battles, and sometimes things happen in those battles that may not happen against other teams. So I don't know if dirty is a word I would say, but I think it's a battle, that's for sure.
You mentioned the need to sort of bounce back, but how do you change the mentality from a team that was kind of rolling through the year, and now you've lost 2 or 3, coming off your first 2-goal loss of the season? How important is it to sort of get things going back the way you want?
I think last week was a very difficult week. Tough result in Minnesota, amazing win in Austin, amazing team win, and then a tough result against Kansas City. After doing so well for so much of the season and things kind of going our way, it's definitely a bit of a wake-up call. And so I think that's exactly how we have to look at it. The alarm bells are going, and Kansas City's, right behind us right now. New England is above us right now, and I think that we got to play our game and not get lost in looking too far forward. And just wake up call, do the work here, and then perform tomorrow.
Is there any sense of you'd rather get the wake up call now rather than
Oh, for sure. I think that's why it's so difficult. Look at any sport for undefeated seasons to happen, and oftentimes that wake up call comes in the championship game or in the Final Four of college, and that's the last thing you want, because a championship is always going to be more fabulous than an undefeated season with no championship. So I think that the wake up call is good now, Kansas City is a tough team. I think we definitely could have played better and could have gotten that result. But I think this is a good opportunity to get back on the horse, like I said.
It's just that we wanted to give you guys 2 days off, kind of like a mental break. Did you feel that you guys needed that time?
I think it's always good to get away from the game, because if you stay locked in on the game too much, it's easy to get caught up in too many details and things like that. So getting away, having other hobbies, and just stepping out is vital for the mental health. As much as you've seen going on in the Olympics right now with mental health, I think mental health, stepping away and just being able to perform at your highest level takes a clear mind. So I think that was really important for us.
That's what I wanted to transition into too, like you mentioned with the Olympics and Simone Biles, and just even for a while, Naomi Osaka. Is that triggering at all? Do you think about it more when more athletes are starting to talk about mentality?
I think it's something that all athletes know is an issue, but I think a lot of athletes often just internalize it and don't realize that it's an issue with other people as well. So I think for somebody on her platform to come out and talk about it makes, and Kevin Love a few years ago, similar things. It makes, I think they've gone through some very difficult things, and everybody goes through difficult things, and I think their purpose is to make others comfortable in talking about that, because it's not an uncommon thing by any means, and the more people are comfortable with it, the more they're able to work through it.
Without getting too personal, what did you do on your time off while we're talking about mental health, and where did you go? Did you
Yeah, I think getting out of the city, and I'm so blessed to be in the state of Washington. It is so amazing out here. So getting out in the nature, getting away from social media, getting away from everything is so good for the mind, and seeing friends, and just getting out and walking around. Obviously, the summers are amazing in Seattle, so there's plenty of green areas to walk around and meet people. So I think just connecting with people is the biggest thing.
And then you talked about this a couple of times, but just focusing on the next game, not whether the last 3 or the next 3, but then how important is that as the team, and what's been the mood like in focusing on tomorrow, playing at home?
I think summer is a difficult time. It is, especially with the injuries we have, the guys we're missing, and just the number of games we have. And I think taking advantage of the home games and trying to get 3 points out of all of those is what we have to do. And so I think here we have to control the tempo, we have to stay organized, and we have to control the game and manage it so that we get the 3 points and that, you know, we're not going back into the locker room disappointed after dropping 2 or 3 points, because 3 points is what we want, and that's, I think, you know, what we deserve and should have.
How does one balance not pressing, right? We got to control it. But how do you guys balance that? This is who we are, be patient, and then execute when the opportunities are there?
I think it's all in the tactics, and also the group has been together for a long time. Obviously, we have new pieces, but that's what makes the organization so great, is that everybody's on the same page, you know, from top to bottom, and understanding the individuals that we have on the field, understanding when people are tired, and understanding, you know, just the tendencies of people, and then controlling that, managing it, whether it's, you know, JP in the middle of the field trying to talk to people, if it's me from the back or the coaches from the sideline. I think we just, as long as we're all on the same page and doing whatever we do collectively, we'll be successful.
Any others for Steph? Go ahead,
You see Steph is back in the group. What would you say the competition's like between goalkeepers and some of the positives of having him back in there?
I think he's awesome to have. He's obviously a very high-level goalkeeper technically, so having him in training is, you know, raises the level no matter what goalkeeper group he's in. And then just his personality, more than anything, is so good to have. He's very encouraging. He's very technical. He's very supportive, and he's a guy that, you know, he's going to tell you from my experiences, and because he has had so many experiences. So when he can say, "Oh, I've done this 1,000 times," like, just learn from it. You know, that's very encouraging and very supportive, and I think he's a great guy to have back out on the field with us.
Where do you think you developed the most this season?
Personally, I think managing the team and being, you know, confident and calm on the ball, I think that I can definitely improve on that. But you know, trying to manage the personalities that we have and manage the game, because I think that's where, as a goalkeeper, you have to. That's why maturity is such an important piece of it, is managing the game, understanding where the game is, and kind of being that coach on the field, or the extension of that coach on the field. So I think that management role and communication and things like that is something that I've improved on, but, you know, still need to improve on. I think that's the thing with goalkeeping, is there's so many different facets, and you can't check any of them off the list, because you're working on one or two specifically, but you're constantly improving on all the other ones. You can't just say, okay, I'm done with that, and then move on. You always got to come back to it.